You know, I was in a pretty good mood yesterday. I actually slept for once. That was fun. I think I might have even had a dream or two. I woke up. I forgot to make cold brew the night before, so I went to the nearby coffee shop and ordered an XL iced coffee with 2% milk and caramel. Then I decided to go to Subway, get myself a sandwich. I really don't care much for Subway, but I figured it might be a nice change of pace from my usual breakfast of 2 eggs, 2 pieces of toast, and some berries. I got a roast beef sandwich. I wanted cheese, okay? I did want cheese, but I didn't get any because I'm watching my calories. I loaded up with veggies, though. I ate half the sandwich for breakfast, saved the other half for later. I'll probably end up eating it after I'm done shooting this video. I shot some episodes of Deep Fat Fried with Paul and Scotty. I watched some Star Trek The Next Generation, favorite show. I ate some quinoa, some blackened shrimp, some spinach. While I was idly scrolling through Twitter on my phone, I noticed an article from Politico saying that the Supreme Court has overturned Roe v. Wade. Or at least, they're going to overturn it in a few months. For the first time in history, a Supreme Court decision has been leaked to the press. The news struck me hollow at first. I didn't have an immediate reaction. Well, I did, but it was a sort of numbness. I had the profound urge to tell my wife, but I also didn't really want her to know. I wanted her informed, but I didn't want her to have to deal with the knowledge. She was, after all, a marcher for abortion rights in a few protests, and I've never marched for anything. I'm not the marching type. I'm like most Americans, I think. I opine and bloviate from the safety of my couch. I eventually did tell her in basically the most passive way possible. I sent her a link to the article. I didn't announce that I'd sent it, I just sent it. Over the course of the next couple hours, the numb disbelief inside of me began to transform into rage. I saw a conservative tell someone who was upset about this to cope and seethe and rage. Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, because I'm seething and I'm raging, but I'm not really fucking coping. The desires of my heart I cannot even put forth on any platform known to me. The closest I could come is in tweeting, "Tree of Liberty's looking a little dry lately. I think she might be thirsty." If you understand that reference, you understand my hesitancy to speak specifically on this topic. For some hideous reason, this tweet summoned forth one of the stupidest motherfuckers on the face of this hideous earth, Tim Pool, who informed me that I was in a cult for daring to think he was some kind of conservative. There's nothing that hurts the little black heart of a conservative worse than accurately identifying them as such. So, of course, he was a little bit triggered. I don't care about Tim Pool, of course. I mean, no one should. I want to say that for emphasis. Again, no one should care about Tim Pool. He's just a distraction. I care about the fact that the Supreme Court's verdict that has served as a cornerstone of women's rights for 49 years, Roe v. Wade, is about to be upturned by this gaggle of coffin dodgers, 3 of whom were nominated to the court by this loathsome monosyllabic grunting turd that was elected by the lead-poisoned boomers of America because they were traumatized by an articulate black dude having been president for 8 years. Now, make no mistake, this court's not going to stop here. Roe v. Wade was a decision based on the right to privacy guaranteed in the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. You know what other landmark decision is based on the 14th Amendment? Obergefell versus Hodges. Might not have the same instant name recognition, but it's the decision that gave gay people the right to get married. Every little scrap of social progress that we've cobbled together for ourselves in this country, the Boomer Tumor is threatening to snatch away. It seems so appropriate, by the way, that while this story was breaking, Hillary Clinton was attending the Met Gala in a Bordeaux-colored gown designed by Joseph Altuzarra, with the names of historic women sewn into the hem and neckline. Some will say, and it's hard to deny on some level that they're correct, that if only Hillary had won in 2016, this would not be happening right now. If Hillary and not Trump had appointed 3 justices to the court, then perhaps this state of affairs could have been avoided. Seems very likely it would have. Or would it have only been postponed? Because think about this. For the entire 49-year existence of Roe v. Wade, Democrats have known that a sufficiently right-wing court could overturn the thing in a fucking instant. And for 49 years, they knew that the only way to codify the right to abortion was to pass a federal law stating its legality. And they had supermajorities in the House and the Senate during the following years, 74, 75, 76. And then in 77, 78, 79, 80, and 81, they not only had supermajorities, but they held the White House under Jimmy Carter. In 88, 89, 90, 91, and 92, they had supermajorities again. In 93, 94, and 95, they had supermajorities and they had the Clinton White House. In 2010 and 2011, once again, supermajorities and the White House under Barack Obama. In 2019, Joe Biden tweeted, "Roe v. Wade is the law of the land, and we must fight any and all attempts to overturn it. As president, I will codify Roe into law and ensure this choice remains between a woman and her doctor." He didn't do it. His Democratic predecessor didn't do it. And his Democratic predecessor didn't do it. And his Democratic predecessor didn't do it, even though every single one of them, other than Biden, at one time enjoyed supermajorities in the House and the Senate. So, to the vote blue no matter who crowd, to the harm reduction crowd, who look at what Trump did and think about a world where Hillary got to make those appointments, I sympathize with you and I think you've got a fucking point, okay? But I also think that the folks who say voting doesn't matter and this whole thing is just a shit show also have a pretty solid point. The fact that for 49 years, Democrats raised money on protecting Roe v. Wade, promised again and again and again to codify it, and then never once lifted a finger to fulfill that promise, even when they completely controlled both the legislative and executive branches of government, that shows me that voting blue might have postponed this tragic day, but it almost certainly would not have indefinitely prevented it. The most conspiratorial part of my brain wonders if perhaps the Democrats aren't secretly just a little bit happy that this happened. Because now they get to focus on hot-button social issues again. No more of this union talk, no more of this fair wages talk. Now everyone has to once again fight a basic battle for simple human dignity while the rich cocksuckers that control both parties sneak off with the contents of the treasury. Part of me can't help but think it's all part of the plan. All I know is that if I was a Democratic politician, I'd look at this moment as kind of a godsend. I mean, already they're out there letting us know that the only way to fight this regressive and nightmarish threat to our civil liberties is to vote for them. Before we get into any of these awful, subhuman, Republican, right-wing pieces of just disgusting trash that are truly responsible for this travesty, I have a few more Democrats I want to flip off if I just can do that really quick. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who was probably one of the names sewn into Hillary's ball gown tonight, could almost certainly have prevented this herself if she had retired under Obama instead of limping along to die under Trump. So if there is a hell, I hope she's getting stabbed in the ass by imps. Remember that movie they made about her? And what a great trailblazer she was? Well, that legacy is up in smoke. She's now forever going to be the mush-brained twit that handed America's vagina to Trump on a golden platter and begged him to fuck it. Hillary herself deserves a little bit of a middle finger as well, don't you think? She ran one of the worst presidential campaigns in history and lost to a foaming-at-the-mouth, crazy reality star, fake billionaire narcissist with a bad spray tan and an IQ south of 80. How unlikable do you have to be to go down in defeat to this underwhelming bucket of festering pig shit? The answer? You have to be as unlikable as Hillary Clinton. But of course, we would be remiss in this video if we spent all the time talking about these lackluster, huckster Democrats. Let's talk about the actively evil and proud of it Republicans who are clicking their heels with joy right now because Finally, they've managed to achieve their ultimate dream of forcing rape victims to carry a reminder of their rapist inside them for 9 months of agony, and then undergo the arduous task of childbirth, only to raise a child in a nation without any social safety nets, because those very same Republicans are against anything that helps anyone, unless, of course, we're talking about huge subsidies for their corporate friends, in which case those very same Republicans are suddenly founts of generosity, willing to spend as many taxpayer dollars as humanly possible to ensure that folks like Elon Musk, the richest man on earth, get billions of dollars in government welfare so that they can go make cars that don't work and then buy up the very social media that we could ostensibly use to criticize them. So let's talk about some of these right-wingers. So let's start with Tim Pool. So Tim Pool said, I'm just kidding. No one gives a shit what Tim Pool fucking said. Actually, lots of people do care, but I don't consider them human beings. My evidence that they're not, they listen to Tim Pool. Ben Shapiro is basically tweeting nonstop about how whoever leaked this decision is a bad person. There is little question that this leak is designed to create threat to the life and limb of any justice who signs on to the majority opinion, prosecution to the full extent of the law. In Ben Shapiro's world, a woman being denied the choice of not undergoing the rigors and agonies and dangers and travails of pregnancy and childbirth and raising a kid, her being denied any choice in that is just fine. But a law clerk with a conscience bringing this grave and imminent threat to civil liberties in America to the attention of the public is somehow some sort of grave wrongdoing. This is Republican brain rot, or it would be if they had brains to rot. So women have no right to privacy when making decisions about their own bodies, but the primitive tribunal of 9 geriatrics with no accountability who decide what the law is in our country have the utmost right to ultimate privacy as they figure out new and horrible ways to brutally curtail the rights of American citizens. All right. Well, here's what I think. I think Ben Shapiro should be tied down and fed to starving vultures. I'm just joking, of course. I'd never support something like that happening to innocent vultures. Here's another cancerous growth malignantly pulsating on America's asshole. Bret Weinstein, whatever the fuck. He says, by engaging in sophistry, such as trans women are women, the blue team has lost all credibility as a protector of women's rights. In that context, arguments about the indifference of conservatives to the plight of women just sound delusional. The only sophistry being engaged here is the check mark by Bret Weinstein's name. Aren't those supposed to be reserved for human beings? I didn't know we were giving check marks out to turds on the side of the road now, too. This fucking dipshit is actually trying to make the case that because the left stands for the rights of trans women, that means they've somehow betrayed cis women? I can walk and chew gum at the same time, Bret. Somehow I can manage to support trans women and cis women at the same time. You know why? Because they're not oppositional forces at odds with one another. I love how you think that supporting trans women is somehow anti-woman, but literally taking rights away from women isn't. And when I say I love it, I'm lying, just in case your understanding of sarcasm isn't any more sophisticated than your understanding of gender. Oh, another thing, when I described your opinions on this matter as thoughts, I was being very fucking generous. The dog turds in my backyard are more capable of thinking than you are. And they're also somehow less shitty? Who's next? This guy, Jesse Kelly? Who the fuck is that? A very popular dipshit, nearly 500,000 brain-dead zombies following him. Fucking gross. I hope they all choke on shit. Hell, they'd probably like it if this is the kind of dreck they follow on Twitter. What does this empty vessel of evil have to spew out of his revolting sewer of a fucking mouth? Let's find out. You're seriously surprised these people would break Scottish tradition and rules? Sooner or later, you'll accept you're dealing with demons. What will they do to keep power? Well, anything. That's your answer. Oh, more hand-wringing about the sanctity of the Supreme Court. violated by this horrible clerk that leaked this great decision to the people. And then he posted a pretty badass album cover. Anyone know what band this is? I want to buy this album. He goes on, they've killed over 50 million innocent little babies. They're not worried about the rules. Trust me on that. Motherfucker, I wouldn't trust you not to steal the coins off your dead grandmother's eyes the second no one was looking, you smegma-encrusted worm. The communists are not trying to share a nation with you. They are trying to burn your nation to ash. Until you accept and understand that, you'll never be able to take these people on. So, if you're a woman, or a trans dude, or whatever, anybody who can get pregnant, and you make a mistake one night, or maybe you get raped, or whatever the circumstances, one way or another you end up pregnant, and you decide you don't want to deal with the various acrimonies of pregnancy, childbirth, raising a kid, etc., so you decide to go to Planned Parenthood, get a pill, get a procedure to terminate the pregnancy. That is communism, apparently. That is burning the nation to ash. Got that? Abortion is a wretched stain on this nation. We will never have any kind of moral high ground over a single other culture while we permit the killing of those innocent children. Those who want more of it are my enemy. That's all. I agree with so much of the wording here, but I'd like to make a few little edits. So I would say pro-life Republicans are a wretched stain on this nation. We will never have any kind of moral high ground over a single other culture while we permit them to exist alongside civilized, decent people. They are the enemy of freedom and of humanity in general. They are a turd clogging the pipe of democracy, and only the plunger of freedom can send them hurtling towards the sewer where they belong. May they rot forever in the soup of their own sewage. May they kick and writhe and scream impotently as they are sent cascading into the open maw of Satan as he swallows them down into an abyss of blackness from whence they shall thankfully never fucking return. Praise Jesus. Amen. I think we have room for one more dipshit, don't you guys? How about this tweet by Jackoff Probiscus? Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee, how great thou art, how great thou art. Wow, yeah. I don't think God had anything to do with this. For one thing, if God really objected to abortion, I doubt he would have let tens of millions of them occur before he stopped it. But let's open up our Bibles to Exodus 21:22 through 23, wherein it states that if two men are fighting, and a pregnant woman is hurt in the fight, and she miscarries the baby, then the man who hurt her must pay a fine. But if the woman dies, the man must be put to death. This clearly shows that according to the Bible, the life of a fully grown woman is of far greater value than the fetus in her womb. Now, let's turn to Numbers 5:11 through 5:31, wherein a procedure is described for what should be done with an unfaithful woman. She is to be brought before a priest who will give her the bitter water that brings curse. Now, what's the curse? Well, Numbers 5:19 through 5:21 makes it pretty clear. Then the priest shall put the woman under oath and say to her, if no other man has had sexual relations with you, and you have not gone astray and become impure while married to your husband, may this bitter water that brings a curse not harm you. But if you have gone astray while married to your husband, and have made yourself impure by having sexual relations with a man other than your husband, here the priest is to put the woman under this curse. May the Lord cause you to become a curse among your people when he makes your womb miscarry and your abdomen swell. May this water that brings a curse enter your body so that your abdomen swells and your womb miscarries. There is not one word in all of the Bible that prohibits abortion. And that's not because abortion didn't exist, if that's what you're thinking. The bitter water was a very real thing. Midwives of the time knew of various means of causing miscarriage. There were many poisons known to kill the fetus without killing the mother. And women found reasons to use those, just as they do today. Now, did the Bible spend even one sentence of its 780,000 words condemning that practice? No. Not one. The Bible references abortion only once, and it's to prescribe it as a means of dealing with your cheating wife. But even if the Bible was rife with condemnations of abortion, so what? There is no God. The Bible is bullshit. It was written by men, not by God. If there is a God of any kind hiding somewhere out there among the stars, it certainly doesn't care about abortion or about humanity. If it did, it would do something about it. All of the religious kerfuffle about abortion exists not because true Christians want to follow the word of God, but because fake Christians want to control the lives and bodies of women. That's the truth. And will we let them do it? Will we continue to sit idly by as our rights are eroded, as our dignity is stripped away, as our humanity is spit upon by freedom-hating conservative mongrels with snarling faces who call themselves pro-life, when in fact they are the gleeful despisers of life? Who call themselves Christians, when in fact they abhor the teachings of Christ? Christ said to love your fellow human beings, to give your money away to the poor, to make your heart full of forgiveness. They don't love human beings. They seek dominion over them. They don't give money to the poor. They starve them and revile them. They don't have forgiveness in their hearts. They're petty and loathsome. And hey, I'm pretty petty myself, but I don't claim to follow Christ. I believe in some of his teachings and I reject others. I don't call myself a Christian. I don't think Christ was real, let alone the Son of God. But to all the fake Christians of the world, especially those who engage in demagoguery and deceit, I'll quote Jesus at you from the book of Matthew. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are full of the bones of the dead and everything unclean. In the same way, on the outside you appear to people as righteous, but on the inside you are full of hypocrisy and wickedness. Women, or trans men, or any person of any identity that has a womb capable of fostering the development of a fetus, they are free to decide whether or not they wish to do so. No matter what any court says, supreme or otherwise, no law that prohibits them from making that decision for themselves deserves even a shred of your or my or anyone's respect. Anyone who thinks otherwise is wretched. The excrement from my ass is worth more than their very lives. May they depart from us soon and forever wander alone in the abyss of their own stupidity. May their desperate attempts to control us wither and die like flowers in a frost. May their sickening hatred of the human spirit turn to poison in their veins, and may they slip forever into the suffocating misery that they have so long imposed on others. May every shard of their inhuman cruelty be sharpened tenfold and turned back on them with the force of 1,000 tornadoes. May they forever dine on their own rot, listless and lost in the labyrinthian hell of their own petty justifications. And may God, if there is such a thing, spare them not even a molecule of its mercy. And to those of you who are hurting today, to those of you who feel miserable in the light of this sickening injustice that has been done, may love and beauty soon dominate your destiny. May your wounds be healed. May your loveliest dreams be made manifest. And I admit it's a prayer, but not to God. God, as we think of it, is useless. But you should know that by now. I'm the Amazing Atheist. Peace the fuck out.